Hello everybody, I'm Есенгалиева А.Т. I work at Аманқарағай Secondary School number 2 as a teacher of biology and chemistry. Let's look at the desk. Let's think about the question. How does ribosome know which type of protein to make? We will get the answer to this question by studying the topic of today's RNA lesson. The goals of the lesson: distinguish the structure of RNA types, distinguish the function of RNA types. Let's listen to new words.
Cloverleaf, бедер жапырағы. Encoded, кодталған. Intermediary, делдал. Messenger RNA, ақпараттық РНК. Ribosomal RNA, рибосомалық РНК. Transfer RNA, тасымалдаушы РНК. Site, алмақ. To assemble, жинау. To bind, байланыстыру. To combine, біріктіру. To convey, тасымалдау. To deliver, жеткізу. To distinguish, ажырату. To require, талап ету.
Okay, good. Students, listen to key terms.
Ribosome, sphere-shaped organelle composed of protein and rRNA that serves as the site of protein synthesis. Messenger RNA, a type of RNA that conveys genetic information from DNA to the ribosome, where they specify the amino acid sequence of the protein. Transfer RNA, a cloverleaf-shaped RNA that transports specific amino acid to the ribosome. Ribosomal RNA, component of ribosome functioning in protein synthesis.
RNA structure. Ribonucleic acid or RNA is a type of nucleic acid. RNA consists of nucleotides. Nucleotide consists of three components: sugar, a phosphate group, and a nitrogenous base. Let's compare DNA and RNA. DNA is desoxyribonucleic acid and RNA is ribonucleic acid. As DNA, it contains adenine, guanine, cytosine, but instead of thymine, it contains uracil. The main function of RNA is protein synthesis. RNA is involved in gene expression pathway by rich genetic information in DNA is used to synthesize proteins that determine cell function. There are three types of RNA involved in protein synthesis: mRNA, tRNA, and rRNA. Okay? Let's watch the video.
Let us see the types of RNA. There are three major types of RNA which occur in all organisms. They are messenger RNA, that is mRNA, transfer RNA, that is tRNA, and ribosomal RNA, that is rRNA. Let us know about the messenger RNA. As the name suggests, mRNA carries the genetic information from DNA to the ribosomes. Genetic informations on the DNA are transcribed into the mRNA by a process called transcription. Here the message is translated into action, that is, based on the genetic information, different types of proteins are synthesized. The type of gene that is involved in protein synthesis depends upon their strength, kinds, and sequence of nucleotides. It is about 3 to 5% of the RNA content of the cell. The mRNA is always single-stranded. The mRNA is produced as a complementary copy of the DNA which is involved in protein synthesis. Let us know about transfer RNA. Transfer RNA is also known as soluble RNA, sRNA. The tRNA is a small molecule compared with other types of RNAs. It amounts to about 15% of total RNA of the cell. The tRNA molecule performs a number of functions. The most important one is to act as a carrier of amino acid to the site of protein synthesis. There are about more than 20 types of tRNAs. Each tRNA is a specific for a particular amino acid. In bacterial cell, there are more than 70 tRNAs, and in eukaryotic cells, the number is even greater. There are 4 or 5 tRNAs specific for a particular amino acid, and these are called isoacceptor tRNAs. Describe ribosomal RNA. This is found in the ribosomes. The rRNA represents about 40 to 60% of the total weight of the ribosomes. Relatively, it constitutes about 80% of the total RNA of the cells. They are produced in the nucleus. They are the most stable forms of RNA. They consist of single strand of nucleotides. At some regions, the strand is folded.
Now we are going to consolidate our knowledge. Task. You need to compare 3 types of RNA and fill the tables. Based on features, add a tick to the corresponding type of RNA. Let's check it out. Have anticodons. tRNA join codon with an anticodon. rRNA have codons. mRNA assemble amino acid into a polypeptide chain. tRNA have a cloverleaf shape. tRNA component of the ribosome. rRNA act as an intermediary between DNA and ribosomes. mRNA. Dear students, today we learned about RNA. Now we know the types, structure and function of RNA. This is your homework. Learn by heart new terminology. Read paragraph 1.13. Make a crossword. Goodbye.